Hi students, welcome to Sunil's tutorial. I am Sunil Mirwani and today we will be doing this chapter called as Genetic Basis of Inheritance. Let's see what is dihybrid cross today. What do we understand by dihybrid cross? Now dihybrid cross is the cross between two pure parents, pure as in homozygous, in which two characters are considered simultaneously. So far we were considering only one pair of contrasting characters. If you take two pairs of contrasting characters, then that is called as dihybrid cross. Fine, do we get this thing here? So it is a cross between two pure parents. It is a cross between two pure parents in which two characters are considered simultaneously. So a cross between two pure parents in which two characters are considered simultaneously is called as dihybrid cross. The phenotypic ratio obtained in the F2 generation is called as the dihybrid ratio. The phenotypic ratio obtained in the F2 generation, the phenotypic ratio obtained in the F2 generation is called dihybrid ratio. Right? Now let's try to understand this with the help of an example. Let's try to understand dihybrid ratio with the help of an example. Now in Mendel's dihybrid cross, he considered two characters of the pea plant simultaneously, and the two characters that he considered were the seed color and the seed shape, where yellow color was the dominant over the green color and round shape was dominant over the wrinkled seed. So these are the two characters that he considered. In Mendel's experiment, dihybrid cross, he considered two characters. He considered two characters of the pea plant simultaneously. Simultaneously, that is seed color and seed shape, right, where yellow color or yellow seed color was dominant over the green color, yellow seed color was dominant over the green color, and the round shaped seed was dominant over the wrinkled seed. So that was the experiment that he did. Thus, one parent with dominant nature having yellow round seeds and another parent with recessive nature having green wrinkled seed was taken. So both the dominant characters were taken in one plant and both the recessive characters were taken in one plant. You took a plant which had yellow as well as round seed, and you took another plant which had green and wrinkled seed, right? So he said that thus one parent with dominant nature, one parent with dominant nature having yellow colored round seeds. So both the dominant characters come in one plant, and another parent with recessive nature having green colored wrinkled seed, having green colored wrinkled seeds were taken, right, with genotypes. Now the genotypes for this were YYRR, that's yellow and round, and YYRR, that is green and wrinkled, okay, respectively. So this was the dominant and the recessive character that he took. Now obviously the gametes that would be formed would contain yellow and round and green and wrinkled. So I can say gametes were formed, and they were YNR and YNR. These would be the gametes that would be formed. So now we know that in F1 generation you would always get dominant characters, right? And you would get heterozygous genotype. So I can say that the F1 parents were crossed, and seeds obtained of F1 parents were crossed, and seeds obtained in F1 are yellow and round. That is, the dominant character would be the phenotype, right? And the genotype for this will be YYRR, right? That is heterozygous but showing dominant character. That is heterozygous but showing dominant character. Fine, we get this in here. Now, the F1 progeny were allowed to grow, and then when it flowered, it was allowed for self-pollination, right? So I can say that the F1 progeny was allowed to grow, and then when it flowered, it was allowed to self. Right? So that would give me the F2 generation. So there was a possibility of 16 progeny in the F2 generation. A possibility of 16 progeny in F2 generation. There was a possibility of 16 progeny in the F2 generation, a possibility of, right, which can be explained with the help of checkerboard, pattern, right? Now, so when the gametes of F1 hybrid were produced, what would be the gametes of F1 hybrid? When gametes were formed, in F1 hybrid or by F1 hybrid, four types of gametes were produced. You had four different types of gametes that were produced. Now, which were the four different types of gametes? They were yellow round, yellow wrinkled, green round, green wrinkled. Right? They were these gametes, they were self and the phenotype ratio was I'll show you this with the help of checkerboard pattern. The phenotype ratio of 9:3:3:1 was obtained. Where what is 9? 9 is yellow round. So you had 9 plants that would be yellow round. 3 would be yellow wrinkled. 3 would be green round, and 1 would be green wrinkled. That was the ratio that would be obtained. Now let's show you this with the help of a diagram. Let's explain this to you with the help of a diagram. Let's assume that phenotypes of parents is going to be pure yellow round, which would cross with pure green wrinkled. That would be my phenotypes of the parent. Pure yellow round pea plant, pure green wrinkled pea plant. Those are my two parents, right? Now, what would be the genotype for this? The genotype would be pure yellow, pure round. This is pure green and pure wrinkled. This would be my genotype for this. So in that case, the gamete that would be produced will be YR, and here it would be YR. These would be the gametes that would be produced by the two parents, right? So in that case, the F1 generation, if I cross this, the F1 generation will be YY, RR, right? That would be hybrid. This is my hybrid yellow round, right, where the dominant character is seen, right? Once you have this, now the F1 generation is allowed for selfing. The progeny of F1 generation, which was produced by selfing, the progeny of F1 generation, which was produced by selfing. The progeny of F1 generation, which was produced by selfing of F1 individuals, by checkerboard method is as follows. what happens. You need to have a checkerboard. You have phenotype. My phenotype is F1 hybrid yellow rounded seed. F1 hybrid yellow rounded seed, which would cross with another F1 hybrid yellow rounded seed. The genotype for this will be, right, F1 hybrid yellow rounded seed, YYRR, and this is YYRR, right? Now, once I have this, what are the gametes that I would get from here? I would get 4 types of gametes from here. I would either get YR or YR or YR or YR. These are the 4 different types of gametes that I would get from the first parent plant of F1, and same kind of gametes you would get from the second parent also, that's YR, YR, YR and YR. These are the 4 gametes I would get. Now, let's see the F2 generation in that case. Now I need to make a checkerboard pattern with this. 4 gametes of male, 4 gametes of female. So you would have female, here you have YR, YR, YR and YR. Male. Same kind of pattern. Same gametes, YR, YR, YR and YR. All you need to do is just join those patterns. There would be 16 different types of progencies that would be produced. Now, if I join this male female, I'll get YYRR, right? If I join this, I will get YYRR. If I join this, I will get YYRR. If I join this, I will get YYRR. Right? Pure yellow round, pure yellow hybrid round, hybrid yellow pure round, hybrid yellow hybrid round. Right? Then here you will get YYRR. Then next would be YYRR. Then will be YY, capital R, small r. Then capital Y, small r, small r. Capital Y, small r, small r. Right? Then join these two. This will be capital Y, small y, capital R, capital R. Capital Y, small y, capital R, small r. Small y, capital R, capital R. Small y, capital R, small r. Then capital Y, small y, capital R, small r. Capital Y, small r, small r. Then you have small y, capital R, small r. And finally y, small y, r. Small r, small r. So this is going to be my checkerboard pattern for 2 characters that would be different, right? And the phenotyping ratio for this is going to be 9:3:3:1. I already explained this to you, that what does each one of them indicate. The 9 is yellow round, the first 3 is yellow wrinkle, next is green round, and last is green wrinkle. Fine, do we get this thing here? So do we understand what is dihybrid cross? Next, let's see the next one. What do I mean by independent assortment? Now, what is independent assortment? Now, Mendel's third law of inheritance is called as the law of independent assortment. It states that when two homozygous organisms differing in two or more pairs of contrasting characters are crossed, then the inheritance of one pair of contrasting characters will be independent of another pair. Which yellow will combine will not depend upon which round gamete is combining. Right? So if you have two or more characters, each character is going to be independent of each other. That is your Mendel's third law of inheritance. Right? So I can say that Mendel's third law of inheritance law of inheritance is called as law of independent assortment. Independent assortment. That's my third law of inheritance. Now it states that when two homozygous organisms differing in two or more pairs of contrasting characters are crossed, then the inheritance of one pair of contrasting characters, is independent of the other pair. Of contrasting character. One pair of contrasting character is going to be independent of another pair of contrasting character, right? That means if I took two contrasting characters such as yellow, green, that's the color of the seed, and the shape of the seed, round and wrinkled. Now, whether yellow color combines with round or wrinkled has no bearing with the green color, right? So, when they are crossed, the inheritance of one pair of contrasting character is independent of other pair of contrasting character, right? Now, let's try to explain this. Let's see the explanation for this. Now, Mendel formulated this law with the help of the dihybrid cross using a pea plant as example. Mendel, how did he come up with this law? He formulated this law with the help of dihybrid cross using pea plant as example. Right? Now let's try to prove this, that law of independent assortment. Now what did Mendel do in dihybrid cross? He crossed a homozygous. What did he cross? He crossed a homozygous yellow round with a homozygous green wrinkled, he crossed a homozygous yellow round with homozygous green wrinkled. Right now, as each parent was homozygous, both the characters of the seed, that is yellow and round, that is the color of the seed and the seed shape, they produce only one type of gamete, right? Just give me a minute. Right, let's continue with this. Now, since I had homozygous parents, I would have only one type of gamete that would be produced. So I could say that as each parent was homozygous, as each parent was homozygous, as each parent was homozygous for both the characters, you would have, that is the seed color and the seed shape. Seed color and seed shape. As both the parents were homozygous for both the characters, that is the color and the shape, they would produce only one type of gamete. They would produce only one type of gamete. They would produce only one type of gamete. Right? Now, the homozygous parents with yellow round would produce the homozygous parents with yellow round would produce YR. That's the gamete that they would produce. Would produce all YR types. Would produce all YR types. Fine, do we get this thing here? Whereas YR type gametes, whereas the other homozygous parents and the other homozygous parents with green wrinkled would produce all YR types of gamete. Right, those would be the gametes that would be produced by them. Right, now once I have this, these gametes fuse to produce double heterozygous hybrid. These gametes fuse to produce double heterozygous would fuse to produce a double heterozygous hybrid yellow round seed. Double heterozygous hybrid yellow round seeded plants. That's what I would get when I fuse these gametes. So that is what I'll get is YYRR. This is what I will get, right? Indicating that yellow and round are the dominant characters. Indicating that yellow and round are dominant characters. Fine. Now when the F1 hybrid is allowed, F1 hybrid yellow rounded seed plants are self-pollinated, you would get the F2 generation. When F1 hybrid yellow rounded seeds, when F1 hybrid yellow rounded seeds are self-pollinated, in F2 generation. In F2 generation, the phenotype, you would have phenotypically 4 different types of offspring produced. Phenotypically 4 different types of offsprings are produced. Types of offsprings are produced. So which are the 4 different types of offsprings that are produced? You would have yellow round. One would be yellow round. You would get yellow round seeds. Then you would have second would be yellow wrinkled. Third would be green round. And fourth would be green wrinkled. These are the 4 different types of seeds that would be produced. The 4 different types of offsprings produced are in the ratio 9:3:3:1. That would be the ratio in which they would be produced. Now in this cross, the yellow colored rounded shaped seeds and the green colored wrinkled seeds are called as the parental combination. The yellow round and the green wrinkled. And in the F2 generation, along with the parental combination, a new combination, yellow wrinkled seeds are produced. The parental combination was only yellow round and green wrinkled. Yellow round and you had the green wrinkled seeds, right? But in the F2 generation, you have a new combination that is produced, that is yellow wrinkled and green round, right? So this results show that these results have proved independent assortment. That is, the ales, the characters, independent assortment of the characters, and showed that each pair of contrasting character would behave independently and would have no bearing with the other character. Fine, do we get this in clear? So if you had here, the parental generation had a specific set of characters, right? But the F2 generation had totally new different set of characters, which shows that each set of character behaves independently, and that is my law of independent assortment. Fine, do we get this in clear? In this cross, yellow colored round seeds, yellow round seeds and green wrinkled seeds are the parental generation. These are my parental generation. Now, in the F2 generation, along with the parental combination, in the F2 generation, along with parental combination, you also had yellow wrinkled seeds, new combinations of yellow wrinkled seeds and green round seeds was obtained. Right, so you had a new combination that was obtained. These results have proved independent assortment. These results have to independent assortment. These results have proved independent assortment of their ales and showed that each pair of contrasting characters each pair of contrasting characters behaves independently and bear no permanent association with a particular character. And bear no permanent association with a particular character. That's my law of independent assortment. Thus, the independent assortment of characters is due to the independent assortment of their ales in the F1 generation. The F1 generation would produce a genotype capital Y, small y, capital R, small r, right? Thus, there would be 4 different types of gametes that would be produced in the F1 generation, out of which two of the gametes that would be produced would be my parental gametes, and 2 new gametes would be produced that has given rise to 2 new results in the F2 generation. Fine, do we get this thing clear? The independent assortment of the characters is due to the independent assortment of characters is due to the independent assortment of their ales. It's because of the independent assortment of the ales that you have independent assortment of characters, independent assortment of their ales, and hence F1 generation, F1 hybrid, which was my F1 hybrid, YYRR. This was my F1 hybrid, produces 4 types of ales, or 4 types of gametes, sorry. The 4 types of gametes that it would produce are, it would produce 4 different types of gametes, now which would be YR, YR and YR. These are the 4 different types of gametes it would produce, of which 2 are of parental types, that is yellow round and green wrinkled. These are 2 of the gametes which are of parental type, and 2 new are yellow wrinkled and green round. These are the 2 new gametes that are produced, and these unite at random, during fertilization. These unite at random during fertilization to produce 4 different types of plants in F2 generation. During fertilization to produce 4 different types of plants in F2 generation. So do we understand the law of independent assortment, right? Graphically, you can show this with the help of a checkerboard diagram. Now guys, if you get this answer for 7 marks in the paper, you write all this explanation and you will show this whole diagram also for it, right? The diagram that I showed for dihybrid cross, the phenotype parents and how they would give you a hybrid F1, and from the hybrid F1 when it is allowed selfing, how you would get 16 different types of progenies. So if you get this answer for 7 marks, besides writing that explanation, you will have to show this diagram also. I am not drawing the diagram again because I have already drawn it once. But for the answer, remember that you will have to show this diagram also, right? Okay, we will stop this here for today. Thank you very much.